the biggest instance of Triple H being a bullshitter, being totally just full of crap, is when
His comments on Chyna.
They talked about Chyna, and Steve Austin asked him straight up, "Are we gonna see Chyna in the Hall of Fame?" And Triple H goes, "Well, does she deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes, but will she? There are some factors that you have to consider." And then he began to imply that the reason why Chyna isn't inducted and probably won't be in the near future is because of her current lifestyle. The exact analogy that Triple H used, and turn your TV down. Turn your TV down. What's going on?
That's people in the other room laughing, namely my parents. Don't mind me.
My God, tell them to shut up.
You would think it would be.
We're doing business here.
Yeah, I know, but something was funny, so.
You know what? This was funny. Triple H's ridiculous logic. So Triple H said that, well, maybe an 8-year-old child is gonna see Chyna. They're gonna be like, "Oh, Chyna, who's this?" And they're gonna do a search on Google, and they're gonna see something like pornography in the search. First of all, no, they won't. Because if you do a search for Chyna, the only thing porn-related that comes up is the Wikipedia page that says Chyna is an American former professional wrestler, actress, bodybuilder, and pornographic film actress. If you go to Google Images, it's all pictures of Chyna either in a swimsuit posing, or in her wrestling gear, or on the red carpet. And yes, there is a thing called Safe Search. But guess what? There isn't a damn 8-year-old on the face of the planet that's going to do a Google search for Chyna. It doesn't make sense.
No, it really doesn't.
So for this to be the reason why, Chyna's career in porn to be the reason why she's not inducted is a load of crap. And you know what? You know what, Dave? I did the research. I went through all of the current inductees and some of the future inductees for this year of the Hall of Fame. And anything that was remotely controversial or taboo or risque, I found anything that was, that would remotely hinder your ability to be a model Hall of Fame inductee. And you know what we're going to do, children? We're going to go through the ones that I found. And we're going to go through all of them, and we're going to see, and we're going to describe the dirty laundry of these Hall of Famers that will prove why Chyna should go in the Hall of Fame. You ready for this?
Go for it.
André the Giant. The very first inductee in the Hall of Fame was André the Giant. And he was inducted in 1993. He's a raging he was a raging alcoholic. Was said to consume 119 cans of beer in 6 hours.
Jeez.
He was also arrested for beating up a cameraman, and he supposedly mistreated fans. Sounds like a model. Yep, sounds like a model Hall of Fame inductee to me. Fabulous Moolah in 95. By way of her wrestling school that she owned, she was supposedly a pimp that provided wrestling promoters with female wrestlers for sexual needs. She was a pimp.
Really?
Supposedly.
Unproven.
I would say that a lot of these are unproven, but let's just assume for these purposes that they are. factual. She also supposedly used her financial standing to hold other women down in the women's division. A great example, the Wendy Richter screw job. When Wendy Richter refused to lose to her in a match, and they booked Wendy Richter against a masked wrestler that she didn't know ended up being the Fabulous Moolah. So she ends up dropping the title to a person that she didn't want to. Jimmy Superfly Snuka, 1996. Not only did he abuse his girlfriend, Nancy, in 1983, which was the prime of his career, he also killed her.
Oh my.
The murder trial is still going on. This man killed his fiancée.
Unbelievable.
And the investigation was believed to be covered up in a scenario that some people believe ended with Vince McMahon arriving to the crime scene with a suitcase full of money.
Unbelievable.
He's also a noted drug addict. Drug user, I should say. Pat Patterson, 1996. Accused throughout his time as a booker and an agent for sexual harassment of male wrestlers. Ahmed Johnson is on record saying that the reason why he never got a world title spot was because he refused the advances of Pat Patterson. And a male ring announcer pressed charges against Pat Patterson, and he was fired. And they brought him back, when the charges were cleared. But then he had to retire a decade later because of all the allegations. So apparently Pat Patterson likes to have his way with the male wrestlers. Vince McMahon Sr., who was inducted in 1996, which should tell you a lot that Vince McMahon Sr. wasn't the first inductee in the Hall of Fame. That Vince McMahon Sr. went in the second class, the beta class. Vince McMahon Sr. is said to have neglected Vince McMahon Jr. many times. Why would you want to have a father a deadbeat father in the Hall of Fame? Superstar Billy Graham, 2004. Notable steroid user. In the midst of the 1993 steroid trial that nearly caused the WWF to go bankrupt and close down their doors for good, he sued Vince McMahon and the WWF for forcing him to take steroids. And that lawsuit was dismissed when Graham revealed that he was using steroids for years before that. But that didn't stop him from then accusing Vince McMahon of molesting small children. And this guy was inducted in the Hall of Fame after all this.
Oh my. I don't believe any of this.
Greg the Hammer Valentine, 2004, notable drug user. Jesse Ventura, 2004. Greg Valentine, notable drug user, known for smoking marijuana with the Iron Sheik and doing other drugs. Jesse Ventura, controversial politician, as you know.
As everybody knows at this point.
He is. He's also a key member of the 9/11 Truther movement. Believes that the 9/11 attacks were a conspiracy. Pete Rose, 2004. Banned from Major League Baseball for initial accusations and later his admittance to betting and gambling on his own baseball games that he played.
But that's not something that should keep anybody out of a Hall of Fame. Pete Rose should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Maybe not the WWE.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
You can't gamble on the games that you play. And he should not be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Hulk Hogan, 2005. Notable steroid user. accused of cheating on his wife multiple times, which eventually led to their divorce. When his son was responsible for a car crash that left the passenger to be in a severely vegetative state, Hulk Hogan called his son not to discuss how bad of shape the guy was in, but to discuss a reality show. And Hogan blamed the passenger that was at this point all fucked up from the accident for not wearing a seatbelt. And not to mention, he was also featured on a sex tape with the wife of his then best friend, Bubba the Love Sponge. Now, some of these instances happened after they were inducted, but we're pretending like they're about to be inducted. The Iron Sheik. I love him. I love Sheiky Baby. But notable drug addict. In 1992, found traveling with Jim Duggan in a carload of drugs, and was arrested.
Well then,
he was probably erected when it happens. When you think about it, he was arrested, and this was a huge incident that happened because it marked the unofficial end of kayfabe in wrestling. Exposed the business because Sheik was a heel and Duggan was a babyface, and the two were feuding at the time. And they were traveling together doing drugs.
this is when the reality era really started, people.
Yeah, the so-called reality era. That includes bunnies and bunnies wrestling midgets. He also garnered popularity late in his career with the heavy use of offensive language, such as, "I'm going to fuck you in the ass and make you humble." And also calling gay people by the F word. Sorry, not gay people. Using the gay slur, the gay F word slur. Using it frequently. Possible homophobe, possible anti-Semite. Intelligent Jew, things like that. Roddy Piper, 2005, notable drug user. Eddie Guerrero, notable drug addict, notable alcoholic. And he was also fired for a DUI. Sensational Sherry, drug user. Tony Atlas, featured in videos online which featured women stepping on his face because Tony Atlas has a foot fetish. Sounds like a model employee to me. Verne Gagne, legendary booker of AWA, offered Iron Sheik a bribe to legitimately break Hulk Hogan's leg. In 2009, which was 3 years after his induction, but still, we're pretending as if they're now being inducted, got into a fight with a 97-year-old man, and Verne broke the man's hip, and the man died from the injuries.
Unbelievable.
So he killed a man. He killed a man. And it's not funny that he killed the man, but this guy is in the Hall of Fame, but Chyna is not. Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, notable drug user, including steroids, cocaine, and painkillers. He died from a cocaine overdose and was possibly an alcoholic. He was known for an infamous incident aboard the company jet that changed the face of travel in the WWE. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you check out the Plane Ride from Hell on Google. Jerry the King Lawler, 2007. In the mid-1990s, he was indicted for raping and sodomizing a 15-year-old girl. He also attacked a police officer by running over his foot in 1999.
Model employee right there. Model Hall of Famer.
Various accusations of sexual harassment as well. I can't imagine why. Eddie Graham, Hot Stuff Eddie Graham, notable alcoholic. Ric Flair, 2008, notable alcoholic, arrested for assaulting a driver on a highway. He's also known for no-showing events, which is a huge no-no in Vince McMahon's book. Probably Vince McMahon's biggest pet peeve is when a superstar does not show up. And he's also known for bad-talking a number of wrestlers and holding some down.
A bunch of issues.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. He glorified alcohol.
Yeah, it's what makes the character.
Glorified it. Arrested for domestic abuse in 2002.
Before he got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I've said that multiple times. That some of this happened already.
I said before, though.
Von Erich family. They all struggled with drug and alcohol abuse. A number of them committed suicide. Gorgeous George, notable alcoholic. Ted DiBiase, alcoholic. He also cheated on his wife. Abdullah the Butcher, 2011. He was infected with hepatitis C, and he's been accused of sharing blades with wrestlers and cutting them open with that blade, without warning them that he had hep C. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, drug user. Road Warrior Hawk, alcoholic. Shawn Michaels, notable drug addict, also posed in Playgirl magazine. Tammy Six. Now, this was the largest paragraph that I read.
Why am I not surprised at that one?
Here we go. Notable issues with drugs and alcohol. She's taken advantage of WWE's free rehab policy and has been unsuccessful each time. This happened so much that she's the first and only superstar that is banned from utilizing this policy. Former superstar that's banned from utilizing this policy. She ran and posed for a wrestler-run softcore pornography website called Wrestling Vixen. For a fee, she allowed fans to cuddle with her in bed. So, if you wanted to pay, the $30, you could spoon with Sonny in bed. How delicious. How delicious. Allowed fans for a fee to enter a XXX webcam show featuring herself. And to top it all off, she was once arrested 5 times in 4 weeks. Wonderful.
How does that even happen?
Edge. Real-life affair with a wrestler who was in a committed relationship with a fellow superstar.
And then it got glorified as a storyline.
Mike Tyson. Arrested for rape of an 18-year-old woman. He also lost his boxing license after repeatedly biting the ear of his opponent. Notable drug addict. And he used disgusting terms about Sarah Palin and interracial sex. Also said to abuse women. Booker T. Neglected his son from his first marriage. And as a young child, not a young child, but a teenager, arrested and jailed for armed robbery. Bruno Sammartino, harsh words about the WWE and its key executives. Donald Trump, accusations of racism, anti-Semitism, discrimination, and fraud. Jake Roberts, notable drug and alcohol addict. Lita, real-life affair with fellow wrestler that was while being in a committed relationship. Scott Hall, notable drug and alcohol addict. And he's also known for his role in the plane ride from hell. Ultimate Warrior, alleged steroid and drug user. Very harsh words about WWE and its members. And he's featured on Online, which can be easily searched on YouTube, spewing off a number of homophobic and anti-Semitic rants. Just vicious rants about his opinions on gay people. Vicious. Randy Macho Man Savage, alleged drug user, and he's also been accused of sleeping with a 15-year-old Stephanie McMahon. Also accused of asking for a threesome with Gorgeous George, who was his girlfriend at the time, and her 16-year-old sister. Woo! He released a defamatory album about Hulk Hogan. Arnold Schwarzenegger, notable drug user, sexual harassment. So these are all of the dirty laundry, the bad things from all of these Hall of Fame inductees. And you're telling me that we cannot induct Chyna because she was in a couple of porn movies?
Absolutely not. Won't anybody think of the children?
That is outrageous. Outrageous. Put Chyna in the Hall of Fame. Because not only did she break the barriers between men and women in wrestling, not only was she an Intercontinental Champion, but, as it was noted on another podcast, she was really responsible for putting Triple H over. Because Triple H owes his career to three men. Shawn Michaels, Chyna. Well, Chyna's not a man, I'm sorry.
Wow. Oh, fail. Yeah. Moving on.
Chyna's a man joke. Ooh. Shawn Michaels, Chyna, and Mick Foley. Those people put him over more than anyone. And actually, I would also say Vince Russo. Because when Vince Russo left, Triple H went to Vince McMahon and said, hey, if you need anyone to bounce off some ideas, I'm here for you. And that move probably single-handedly led to him being crowned as the next principal owner, so to speak, of the Federation.
Yeah. Maybe Stephanie had nothing to do with that either, right?
She had something to do with it, but it's overrated. It's overrated because Triple H was already in creative meetings before Stephanie had even debuted on television. So, you're telling me we can't induct Chyna in the Hall of Fame?
Not at all.
And then Chyna goes on Vince Russo's podcast and claims that Triple H hit her. I mean, let's totally ignore that she was feuding with Jeff Jarrett, who, at times, beat the crap out of her. Chris Jericho, who beat her even worse in storyline. But sure, I agree. This is storyline. This happened for fake. They fake beat her up. Triple H real life hit her. Supposedly. Because, Chyna found out about Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And during the podcast, Triple H said that he didn't have beef on Chyna. Why would he have beef on Chyna? Because he was the one that cheated on Chyna with Stephanie. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't have to make sense to you. As long as it makes sense to Triple H.
It doesn't make sense to him either.
No, it makes sense to him.
There's another reason why they don't want Chyna in the Hall of Fame, and we won't know that. But you know what? After her comments, that blamed Triple H for everything and that said that Triple H hit her. After those comments, she ain't going in the Hall of Fame. So, good job, Joni. Good job, you ruined it.
She was never going to get in the Hall of Fame anyway.
Oh, stop it. Stop
No,
it.
I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm saying she wasn't going to get in anyway. Triple H was not going to put her in the Hall of Fame whether or not she said anything.
That was the point. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.